Well, I was right in the middle of setting up a second cinematography cart when Fujifilm made an important announcement that I think you need to know about. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech and a special Saturday video. Fujifilm today sent this email to probably every single X series camera owner that they have an email for. Anytime a company puts "read the notice" in a large red button, well, okay, I read the notice. If you are a Mac user and you're using SD cards that are SDXC, which stands for Secure Digital Extended Capacity, meaning SD cards that are larger than 32 gigs, such as the 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte SD cards, for example. And you're shooting with one of the following cameras: the GFX 100, 100S, 50S2, XT4, X Pro 3, XS10, XE4, XT30, or X100V. Or if you have the GFX 50S or R or the XT3 camera with firmware version 3.2 or higher. If you have any of those cameras and you use a Mac, then there is an incompatibility problem that could result in your being unable to access some images that were initially saved to your SD card from the camera. So here's what's going on. These cameras that I mentioned that are running the latest firmware, respectively for each, are able to store up to 9,999 images to a single folder on the SD card. However, if you take the SD card out of the camera and you put it in a Mac, okay, and try and access those photos, there are two problems that could happen. The first is that some of your photos may not be accessible at all when trying to copy them on your Mac and access them from there. This problem can happen whether the SD card is connected directly to the Mac or via an external SD card reader. The second problem is that if you don't correctly eject the SD card from your Mac, say you just, pull it out, right? The next time you insert the same SD card back into the Mac, you may actually lose some of the data on the SD card. Now, Fujifilm is going to be issuing a firmware update for all the cameras that I mentioned, but as of the date of this video, it's not available yet. Once it is, I will leave a link to that firmware update in the description down below this video. In the meantime, until that firmware is released, Fujifilm recommends that you don't shoot more than 1,000 images in camera to a single folder on the SD card. Once the number of frames reaches 1,000, create a new folder. You can do that easily by going into the little wrench area, under Save Data Setup, select Folder, and create a new folder from there. Now, Fujifilm has set up a special page that contains information, workarounds, and instructions. I will have a link to that page in the description down below this video. Please go check it out if you are one of the affected Fujifilm users. Remember that this only affects Mac users and not Windows users, okay? If you're using Windows only, then you don't need to worry about any of this. If you are using a Mac, then check out the information that I will link to below and make sure that you update your cameras to the latest firmware once Fujifilm releases it. Anyhow, that's all I have for now. I hope you found the video helpful or entertaining, and if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I will see you in a new video next week. Have a great remainder of your weekend. Take care.